I think another thing that's important to keep in mind is that it's just we have, or female musicians, especially in general, just have to be not afraid to take risks. There's a lot of opportunities out there that aren't necessarily described into a box that we may see ourselves, like that may not describe exactly into a show or a job or a tour that people that are looking for people may not even know that they want. And so I think it's really important to not be afraid. If a gig opens up and it's a gig that you think you would really enjoy, but who they're looking for doesn't really, go anyways. Like, you never know. When I started working for Melanie Martinez, and they wanted a guitar player who kind of played keys. I don't play guitar at all. I only play keys. So I just went anyways. And I just was like, I don't play guitar, but I can make my keyboard sound like one. So, okay. And that's exactly what I did. And I ended up getting the gig. And I was not expecting to get it at all. I just literally went there to like brush up on my audition chops. And I clearly had something that they didn't really even know that they were looking for. And, Melanie chose me herself. So it wasn't the MD or management or anything else. So I think something like that is just really important to remember, because I've probably let so many opportunities pass me by because I would be like, oh, I'm not that exact person. And so many of these things, they're expecting men to be the ones to apply for them. They're expecting men to be the ones at the auditions, and they're expecting men to be the ones to get these gigs. And they don't even know that they want women until they see that there's a lot of us that are better than these guys. So I think that it's really important for us to just like keep going out there and showing up, because then that's how the game is kind of changing. And I think it actually is changing.
What I just want to jump on that, Bonnie. A lot of times you'll see that men who aren't necessarily qualified for things will go ahead and apply, and sometimes they'll get the job just because they had gumption. And a lot of times women who are super overqualified won't do it because we have a perfectionistic tendency, and there's no reason for it. I love what you said. Just go, because you don't know. They don't know either, and you might be perfect. So don't doubt yourself. Just go for it.
Bonnie,
And
I'm
even if
so
it
glad.
doesn't
Oh,
work,
sorry.
I was
Bonnie,
say, even if it doesn't work, you go.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I'm so glad you brought up taking risks, because for me in particular, mentioned I grew up playing classical, transitioned to pop, and I was on a tour where the main keyboard player was leaving, and I was kind of playing second keys, and part of his job was running Ableton, and I really didn't have any experience with it. But I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I have no idea what I'm doing. And 4 years later, it's like the cornerstone of part of my resume is like being able to run shows. And I just think back, like, had I not just kind of said yes and kind of gone with it, that I might not have that skill at the level that it is right now. Just, yeah. And just thinking about how it played into me becoming a music director, and just like how one little risk you take can just, bring you on a new tour, or bring you to meet new people, or bring you to have a new skill that you didn't know was in you.
I put When the Selena tour, I put a keytar on my rider kind of as a joke. And I think I told you this story. I
I think you
literally
did.
drew, I put a keytar on my rider because I was like, this would be really cool if I could play a keytar. But I totally did not expect it at all. I had never played one in my life. I knew nothing about them. I didn't know what I was doing. And I showed up to rehearsal, and they had everything I asked for, including that keytar. And I was like, because I didn't know how to play it. So I just took it home. I was like, yeah, I totally got this. Yeah. And I just like did everything I could, played it around my back, just practice as much as I could. And so I was able to pull it off. And then it was in the show for like a year. And I was like, okay, thank God. But now I was the face of the new keytar that Roland came out. I do keytar demos with Roland. Like, I'm like the keytar girl. And I always tell them, like, started off as a literal joke. I had no idea it was even a thing that people even cared about. And then it kind of just blew, like exactly like you said, it just, you just never know. Take a risk. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're not going to be good at it. And then try something else, just keep going with it. And then, yeah.
Amazing. That's so, like, it's so important for us as women to just like say, well, we can learn. I mean, it might take us a minute, just be like, okay, so what's going on, what's happening, but just to take that step, that might actually be the thing, like Karina was saying too, like that might take you to a level where people call you for that. So that's really cool.